saw
I
that.
want to start with Gonzaga, though. Gonzaga had their 76 game home winning streak snapped tonight. The last time that they lost at home came back in 2018, January 18th. They played at home against St. Mary's. They lost 74-71. The best player on that team that year, either of you guys know?
Nope.
Do you have the answer? Anybody? The chat probably knows at this point. Jock Landale, he went for 26 points against the team that had Josh Perkins on it, against the team that had Silas Melson on it, against a team that had Rui Hachimura on it. That was a good Gonzaga team. It was a better St. Mary's team that night. Gonzaga loses tonight 68-67 at home against Loyola Marymount. I'm just going to say it, guys. This Gonzaga team is the team that everybody outside of the college basketball experts like us, this is what everybody actually thinks Gonzaga is, because they're not that good. They're a little bit overrated. They don't have the killers in the backcourt. They don't have the pros they usually do. They're a good team, like a top 20, top 25 team, but they ain't the Gonzaga team that we've seen recently. This is what everybody normally thinks they are, right, Tio?
Yeah, they're just not there. But I think it all comes down to my man Keely, best hair in the game. Keely Lou Pepe just went bananas. So like we need to give my man credit. He's a good player.
What was that name?
Lou Pepe. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm just going to wing it because, man, that dude is awesome. I'm not sure what he had tonight, but I bet it was great. He ends up with, 11-7? That's important. But I just wanted to swing at that name. But more than anything else, it's a team without as much guard play. That's the biggest thing this year. I mean, you go from Andrew Nembhard to Nolan Hickman, who's really more of a two. They're trying to figure some things out there. It's just whenever we saw them at the Moody Center earlier this year, there's some discrepancy between the talent level in the ones and the twos compared to recent seasons. I think that's the biggest thing. And LMU, I mean, they came in, they play hard, and they've got some guys that can really, fight and beat up Drew Timme a little bit. Timme was still Drew Timme. He ended up with 17 and 7, but it wasn't overly efficient. He needs to be really efficient for that team to win.
That's the second big time win they got. They beat Wake early in the year. LMU beat Wake earlier. So, I mean, they're not a fluke. They did it differently. I mean, they shot the hell out of it, threes when they beat Wake. So tonight they only went 7-19. So it wasn't a great shooting night. But I mean, no one's shocked. I mean, if there was a year that they would lose a game, it would be this year. I thought Malachi Smith would give them more. I thought he'd be a bigger player for them, have more, solve that kind of point guard play for him. It just hadn't been. He's coming off the bench. He's played a lot more earlier, and then Efton Reed. I don't know. I thought he would get more playing time. He barely plays.
How can you fit? You can't fit him in though.
I get it. He's behind Drew Timme, and I get it. I understand it. I was taken back by it. Even when he went there, I was just kind of all right. Maybe he's going to just sit in the wing and learn from Timme and go. But they're not playing even. Like I said this before through their guard play. If they don't play through Timme more, I don't think they can win. They can be a team no matter. They'll finish up with a high seed, and if they don't play through Timme and he plays well, they're just in trouble.
Yeah, my issue is just so hard to play through them when your guards are not good enough to create the space that Timme needs, right? Like he needs a little bit of room. And when you have Nolan Hickman, who's not really hitting shots and is not as good as we thought he was going to be, and Julian Strother, who has his moments but hasn't really developed into that potential pro level, and Hunter Salas, who I forgot that he was still on that roster, to be honest, because he doesn't really play minutes. So when you have all these guys that we thought were going to be good, that's why we hyped him up, right, Tio? We thought Nolan Hickman was going to have a chance to be an All-American breakout star this year. We thought Hunter Salas was going to be in that conversation. We thought Julian Strother was going to have a chance to be a first-round pick. We thought Rasir Bolton was going to come in and be their fourth best guard. And at times he's been their best guard, and that's not the recipe for success when you have a guy that's kind of like a landlocked big in the middle.
I was a little hesitant when it came to Malachi Smith going there. Because that's a team that really likes to push the ball up the side of the floor, find some early offense, some deep post touches within the first 6 or 7 seconds of the clock. He's somebody who needs to dribble the air out of the ball. Randolph, me and you, we did SoCon tournament. I did the first 2 days. You got the last 2 days. We were able to see him play, and he's at his best whenever he's dribbling the air out of it. He's surveying. He can create something. And, he gets 9 or 10 dribbles. He can find somewhere to score. It just hasn't translated well. And I don't think it has much to do with level, because I think he is a good enough player to be a good player in that league. I certainly believe that. I think the fit stylistically was bad, and they have a couple of guys that are like that. But Hunter Salas wasn't bad tonight. It's just finding that right combination of guys. And guys, we're talking about an embarrassment of riches for Gonzaga. It's still a team that can make the second weekend. You know, they lost at home tonight, but it's still a team because of Drew Timme, because of some of these guys. Julian Strawther had a bad game. He was 1 of 8 tonight. 1 of 5 from the free throw, or 1 of 5 from 3. Only hit half his free throws. Like, this wasn't a typical game for them. It's a Gonzaga team that can still make the second weekend, but we're complaining about them because they've had so much success recently. I think that's the big thing.
I was surprised with Malachi, though. He was really efficient, though. And not that he wasn't tonight, you know, and I agree he needs the ball to be effective, but I thought he would kind of solve their point guard play, at least solidify that, where we wouldn't be questioning that position for him. And all they need to me is 2 guys that shoot it well offensively with Timme, and I think they got a chance to beat people. But finding that collectively, like, they shot 14 threes tonight. You would think with a guy like that playing in that league that they would be getting up 20 to 25 threes every game easily, because the attention that he's going to draw. And you know, I don't know. I mean,
all of that being said, Malachi Smith shooting north of 50% from 3. So it's
he doesn't take a lot
being featured enough.
He doesn't take enough. No, he doesn't take enough of them. Yeah,
that's right.
I mean,